Really? Wow. Oh, hold on a second. Hey, everybody. How you doing? This is Pete the Patriot over here on Disabled Vets Perspectives channel. Yeah. I'm gonna tell him right now. We're gonna have to broadcast Alex from Disabled Vets Perspective from an alternative location right now because apparently some of the stuff that he's been saying has got him into something. Yeah, I'm letting him know right now. So whenever you feel like you need to bring yourself in, they'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. So I'll hang up and then you can bring yourself on from your alternative location. All right, bye-bye. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. Alex just let me in some inside information here, and here he is coming up on the screen. For some reason,
hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and apparently all of this talk about the criminality being done by our elites and everything kind of got me hemmed up. So, coming to you on remote location from the Hooskow, the Big House, the Clank, the Men's Club, and everything else. But we are going to be talking about some of this authoritarianism and some of this criminality that's going on because of the, the sniffles. And you guys should have some interesting stuff going on. Mr. Pete, how are you doing outside in the free world?
The air is a little bit better out here. I didn't tell them what location that you were at because I don't want to put anybody's life in danger. But yeah, it pretty much if we talk about what we talk about,
caves,
it's criminal. What we're doing right now is criminal.
Yeah.
So there.
Yes. Yeah, we we got to be careful because you end up in a place like this if you dare to stand up against the criminal empire that is the state and local governments mainly right now.
Yeah.
But I got some interesting stuff pulled up, and we're going to talk about this miscarriage of justice in all of its forms. Real quick, let me say hello to everybody. Strange and unusual open for my show today, but because of the certain scenarios and situations, you have to do what you got to do. Welcome to everybody from Peace Channel. Jeff B, thank you very much for that super chat. That's my first one. There should be a prize for that. I sincerely appreciate it. Anyway, so I got a whole slew of people. I think everybody came over, Pete. And
good.
Well, I'll tell you what. I am going to do one giant hand wave because I got a lot of news to go over right now, and that way I can just say hi to everybody all at once, and we'll monitor the chat in case you guys have questions. But when I open articles, obviously I end up covering a little bit of my chat, so Pete will have to be on backup for that.
I got you.
But I want to start out by talking about one of the most blatant examples of unequal justice under the liberal law. I think some of you may have seen my video where I talked about Michael Avenatti, being released from jail in New York and allowed to return to Los Angeles. He's got an ankle bracelet and he's got all those little technicalities, but he's also got a beachfront home that he gets to chill out in. And Philip, no bail at all. They offered me bail, but it was like $2 million. So I'll just have to sit here until hell freezes over. But anyway, so Michael Avenatti, even though he's got to go back to court and all this other, while he's waiting, since he's already been convicted of crimes, should be sitting in the Hooskow with me, but he is allowed to sit in a beach.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. What happened?
The counter. What's that?
We lost you there for a second.
Am I back?
You're back. Yeah, you're good.
Am I front? All right. So here's the contrast of this example. I don't know if all of you know Roger Stone, but he is a avid supporter of President Trump. He was an advisor during the campaign, and I don't know the man, but what I've seen of him, he's a little nuts. I mean, we're
He's
all a
always been
little
that way.
nuts, but there's nothing really wrong with him other than that.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, nothing to it. But anyway, here we go. A federal judge Thursday evening denied Roger Stone's request for a new trial, shutting down an attempt by President Trump's ally to disrupt his case that played out in February. It's already written with a slant. So what's going to happen is they are having him report to jail in 2 weeks to serve a term for a process crime. And even though there was a significant evidence of a mistrial because the foreperson of the jury was tainted, they're not going to let him pursue that. And the judge is an Obama appointee that has a vendetta against the president, but also the foreperson had a vendetta against Roger Stone and the president. And all of the proof that she was a biatch was on a Facebook page that she deleted. And then she opened up a new Facebook page after she got caught. And of course, the judge isn't going to make Google or make Facebook give up the original page information to prove his point. So the whole thing is corrupt.
Absolutely.
But that's the best opening example I've got. Tell me what you think of that.
Well, here's the thing. They also released Michael Cohen out of jail. Did you know that?
Okay, I did not know that. No, that's
Michael Cohen is now out of jail. What it is that New York State released 4,000 inmates, nonviolent offenders. It just so happens that Cohen is in a New York State jail, and Avenatti, who was just charged, is in a New York State jail, and so on and so forth. So they're using the Corona beer cold as an excuse to let people out of prison. Okay, the people in general in the state of New York, when it comes to a vote saying, should we release nonviolent prisoners, right? And they put it to a vote and they say, no, they're convicted. They got to serve their time. This is the way for the progressives in New York, disguised by this pandemic, to get their progressive things forwarded. Release everybody from jail.
Right.
If it's Michael Avenatti, if it's Michael Cohen, whoever it is, release them from jail. They get their progressive narrative pushed, and doesn't matter about the criminality. It doesn't matter, Alex. It doesn't matter that New York's crime rate since the beginning of this pandemic in January has gone up 75%. That doesn't matter. As long as you get your agenda pushed out any which way you can, they don't care. They don't care what the name is. They don't care.
Right. Okay. And that kind of leads me into my next subject here. It's just interesting how you transitioned that for me. We don't coordinate too much before the show. So, all right. So, example of another crime against the people.
Nice.
As some California counties close gun shops because of the sniffles, even gun dealers report a surge in customers nationwide. One state lawmaker wants Governor Gavin Newsom to halt sales of firearms and ammunition throughout the state, except to law enforcement, even after the president has declared the gun shops an essential business.
Yeah.
So, another example.
Well, here's my theory on this.
Do you have anything else on that?
Yeah, here's my theory on this. The progressive left wing of this country cannot, under any circumstances, and you and I have had this conversation before, They cannot implement their full plan unless the populace is disarmed. Right?
Exactly.
So by doing this,
yes.
by doing this right here, like New York and California and Michigan and Virginia and all these progressive governors in these progressive states, by closing down the gun stores, they are saying that we are not violating your Second Amendment rights. You, as an American citizen, have the right to keep and bear arms. But we, as the governor of the state, we don't have to sell them to you. And it does not affect your Second Amendment rights. Because California just put a background check on ammunition.
Right.
Right? That has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. I would need an identification card to buy one of these without a weapon and have a background check without a weapon.
See, that's insane.
It's called subversion of the Constitution. Now listen, where I come from, we're so tough that we just take these and we push them in you. We don't even need a gun. We just push them in you because we're that tough. But most people would put this in a firearm. And if they're not selling you the firearm,
right,
because they were closing the store and they're putting taxes on these things, they're still not subverting your constitutional rights. You can still own a firearm. You just can't buy it here. You see how that works? You see how that authoritarianism works?
Yep. Well, Margot asked, Alex, how did I smuggle all the electronic equipment in there so that I can broadcast? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. He's actually sitting up on a really high stool looking into a security camera right now that I have had hacked. So, but we don't want to get into that.
Well, grateful grandma, that's, commissary. Fortunately, I've got a loving wife, so she put some money in the commissary for me, and you can get the cigarettes, and that helped. So,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So we are showing examples of how this is going, and the next one here, since we wanted to talk about the tyrannical governors, well, there are some beautiful examples of some of the worst representations of tyranny in this country. And one of them, of course, you mentioned is the Michigan governor Gretchen Whitlas, or Whitmer, whichever way you pronounce it.
Whitlas is good.
Has hit back at thousands of protesters who defied her stay-at-home order on Wednesday, saying the rally was a political rally and not a protest. These people are so stupid, they can't see the resistance from their people if they look out their window and the people are waving back at them. It's insane. I mean, these people told her they are disgusted by what she's doing, and she comes out on the news and says, oh, that was just a political rally. No, that was a warning, I think, and people are going to be recalling her pretty soon, and I think they're up over 200,000 signatures right now to have her removed from office.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot more than that.
Now, here's the thing, though, Alex. Here's the thing, though. She's over there on TV, and I just talked about this in my chat. She's over there on TV saying that these people don't even know what's good for them. That I'm doing this for their good.
Right. Yeah.
It's not political, but them marching
the nanny complex.
Yes, them marching on the Capitol is a political thing. No, lady, you're telling me I can't come out of my house. Okay, you're telling me that I can't go grocery shopping. You're telling me I can't mow my lawn. You're telling me all kinds of crap that are just taking my civil liberties away, and then you expect to guise it under the fact that you're doing it for my safety. What she's worried about is
take a look at what Margot just wrote. She says, Alex, she says, now she said all it did was extend their lockdown. Oh, okay. You protest me. Yeah, we're going to send you to your room with no dinner.
Now what she needs to worry about.
I would be protesting every day. Say, all right, add another day on it. We're not going to protest in the cars today. We're going to go do a march, and we're going to close down the city with too many people. Two can play at that game. You want to threaten to punish.
Yeah, what she needs to worry about now is an armed insurrection. She needs to worry about 20 or 30 people with weapons coming up there and going to the sheriff's department saying, if you don't remove her right now, we're going to do it through force. That's what she needs to start worrying about right now, because that's what it looks like. If she wants to play tit for tat with her citizens, she's going to lose. Michigan's a very rural area. It's very rural. There's a lot of weapons in that state.
Interesting you said that, because you... Right. And you mentioned at the end of your show there about the tweet from the president saying to liberate your state.
That's right.
And the left, I watched American Joe's show before we came up, and he did a whole thing on it about the tweet from the president and the absolute freak fest that's going on with the liberals saying, oh, look, he's inciting violence.
No,
he's not inciting anything. Violence. He's saying to vote them out.
He's not inciting violence.
But they interpret.
No, I understand what you're saying, that they're interpreting it that way because they have to. Because that's what their money back. Right. That's what their money people are telling them. And I was going to say something there that was really bad, and I held myself, and I'm proud I did that. But the people who are backing these left-wing pieces of crap, that's what they're telling him to say. That he's inciting violence against these governors, and it is bad.
But here's another thing:
it's bad for them to do that.
Here's another little thing that that American Joe didn't bring up. When he went down through the comments on the people that were all saying he was inciting violence, there's a technique in that too that Twitter's using. Yes. They showed like probably 30 different people saying, oh, he's inciting violence, all the way down the line. They threw in one comment there saying, the president isn't inciting violence. He's recommending that you vote these people out. Well, then it was all negative, negative, negative. He's inciting violence. That is another technique of control the information that should also be recognized as illegal, because all they're doing is moving all of the comments to the top to make it look like the whole planet agrees that he's inciting violence, when in reality, I am willing to bet that most of the comments that were put under that were probably positive comments, and they all got booted to the bottom because they can't have that with their narrative.
Right.
Brainwashing. Michael O, you're right.
Yeah. And that's the way it's going to be. That's the way it's going to, I mean, it's not like it hasn't been that from before, but from now until the end of this election season coming up, you're going to see that these algorithms in these mass media companies be manipulated more and more and more against people who are trying to put the truth out there, and for people who are skewing it to the left. You're seeing it happen in real time. If people like us, regular guys, who are, some of us are in our yard sale studio, or some of us are in jail. If we see this, that means that a lot of other people see it. A lot of other people see it, and they don't like that. They don't like it.
Well, I think what's happening is they're not even trying to hide anything anymore. Just like that governor, Witless.
Yep.
basically, I know I'm being tyrannical, but if you go ahead and protest me, I'm going to make it worse. They're not hiding it. Yeah, I'm going over the line, but you watch and see how much power I have. You guys keep doing your little protests and you keep coming against me, and I will show you how powerful I am. I get that out of it.
That's exactly what she's doing. That's exactly what she's doing. But unfortunately for her, she thinks that she has the authority of the police and the sheriff department behind her. She doesn't. She doesn't. There are sheriffs in Michigan who are telling her, they're telling her, we are not going to enforce your executive orders because they're unconstitutional. That should be a hint to her right there to say, hey, shut your mouth. Stop.
The problem is there are some cops that do this.
Okay, but they're not going to outweigh
the problem is there are cops that are willing to do this. They're willing to fall right lockstep in line with these people that are doing these tyrannical overreaches and do their bidding. And that's a real problem. If you have cops that are obeying these unconstitutional orders, that's a real problem.
What is their end result going to be?
Well, they're getting pushback, but I'm not seeing a whole lot else. They're going to get sued, but what does that mean? It means that they're going to sit in litigation for the next 3 to 5 years before there's anything done about it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that would happen, but I don't see the majority of police officers willing to risk their lives for the progressive movement. I don't see it. Okay, we watched it with Antifa. Antifa was projected through the media as the left wing's military arm. Chris Cuomo said it. A whole bunch of other people on Fox News said it, on MSNBC. Mad Cow, whatever her name is, she said it. They are the military arm of the left wing. Antifa was. And when Antifa got bloodied up a couple of times, they disappeared. I don't think law enforcement is going to risk their lives, because they want transgender.
They put them down as the victim.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to made them the victims. They made Antifa.
In whose eyes? In whose eyes were they the victim? Not mine. Yeah. In the left wing progressive movement's eyes, which don't count for nothing. They don't count for nothing. Yeah. I do not think that law enforcement on a whole is going to go with this stuff. My opinion. That's all I give is my opinion.
Well, here's something though. Law enforcement. It's opinions like assholes. Everyone has one and they all stink. But, anyway, so what I was going to say here is continuing on with Witless, she may have resistance from the police because the elected sheriffs are actually more powerful than she is. But what she doesn't have kickback from, she doesn't get pushback from the retail stores that she is controlling. She is telling these stores what she feels like is essential and what's not. And she stopped the purchase of seeds. And then when she got brought up about it, when it was brought to her attention, oh, well, all I'm doing is, there's no need for getting seeds right now because we've still got cold weather and they're not going to be planting for 2 weeks anyway. So I didn't really stop anything. Horseshit. She put a stop on it. She also put a stop on buying American flags. And if you try to look up that story, every damn... she never ordered the stop of the sale of American flags.
That's not true. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Because you want to know why? You want to know the stories
that is the question.
But you know,
People's Last Stand asked the panel and me and you, what do we do?
that's a difficult question to answer. That is a
What
difficult
you
question.
do is you just say no. If you are a store owner, yeah, but if you're the store owner, why, if you own the store and you walk over and you slide the barricade out of the way and you say you can buy whatever you want, what is she going to do? If she does this to enough people.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
What she's going to do is
she'll do.
Yeah, she'll send the police over there and she'll close the store down. Right? So close the store down. So give them a fine. But the problem is that you're not going to have enough store owners to do that in order for the police to say, hey, look, we can't go to 550 stores in this county and say, you all have to close or here's a ticket. We have to respond to crimes because that's our job. Our job is a reactionary one. We have to react to crimes, not to take the left-wing progressive movement of this governor and do all this stuff. But you're not going to have enough store owners collectively to make that happen.
Yeah, but she could be hit with so many lawsuits and not her office. That's where people are going to be wrong if they're going to sue the governor's office. Because
personally.
The federal government and the state governments can keep you in litigation for eons and just break you. So the lawsuits need to be to her person, and anybody that is in her representation as one of her representative people, they all need to be individually sued as well. But if people have just decided no more, then open the stores. Go down and open your store. Tell your employees we're going to work. This is the only way things happen. And you've got busybody Americans trying to turn everybody in. Well, how about making that job really difficult for them? How about just everybody go back to doing what you're doing? This stupid sniffles thing has a cure. It's got a therapy, more than one. I think there's like 2 or 3 now that are showing extremely positive signs of correcting this sniffles. So go to work. If you have the sniffles, stay the hell at home. If you start feeling ill, call your doctor and get a script for what you need to make you feel better. But the question was so direct. What do? We say no, and we go back to doing what we're doing. I mean, that's it. That's what you do. I mean, she can't arrest everybody in her state. So if enough people do it, then what's she going to do? She's going to piss and moan, jump around, and maybe cry a little bit. That's it.
And what people need to do is they need to take the lesson from Virginia, that little rally that you participated in, the Second Amendment rally in Virginia. And they need to take those lessons to understand how to handle this. But nobody's making that correlation. In Virginia, you guys were told, the people were told, if you're not part of the Virginia citizenry, you're not welcome here. We don't want you here. You can't gather in numbers. You can't bring your firearms. These were all things that Blackface Northam said that he was going to arrest people for.
Right.
And do all this stuff. Yet the people showed up. They showed up in force, right? They showed up in force, and they were armed to the teeth. There were people that I saw that were carrying Barretts, 50 calibers.
Yeah.
Okay. Law enforcement was walking around. Cool. Law enforcement was walking around the streets like it was a carnival. not like it was almost an armed insurrection against the governor of Virginia. There were pictures of law enforcement hanging out, taking pictures with their arms around people that had heavy weapons. That goes to show you that the law enforcement are saying, I'll come out and do my job and I'll walk around and I'll get paid, but I am not going to risk my life because Shit for Brains over here says that you can't do your constitutional duties because you believe in your constitutional rights way more than I want to take a bullet.
Well,
they should take the Virginia model and apply it right now.
Right. But I've got to say, I don't know if we are at the time where patriot shit needs to be done.
No, we're far
We're
from
close,
that.
But
no. We are far from that.
I mean, it's teetering. But what I think needs to happen is like that protest with everybody in their cars. That was kind of neat, you know.
Yes.
Block up the whole city so no traffic can move. That's pretty creative. But now it's time to occupy the federal buildings, you know, very respectfully, not aggressively. Just go stand and be in the way. If business can't be done because there are 1,000 people in the way, I can't take this paperwork across the hall to over there because this crowd in the hallway is too big. Shut down business, not personal business, federal and state business. If they can't do business, then they have to give in because they are dependent upon the people, and the people forget that because they get so scared by their big bad talk. I'm going to extend your time in your house because you dared to defy me. Well, how about
that's weak.
A few thousand people show up? Yeah, that's desperately weak. But it's time in these tyrannical states to go occupy the federal buildings. And again, I say respectfully, peaceably, but just be in the way. They can't do business if you're in the way. And that's the next step right now.
I agree. I agree 100%. These people, they don't understand that the United States, the citizens of the United States, are smart people. We understand what's good for us and what's bad for us. We're not going to put ourselves in harm's way. We elect governors to run our states to make sure that the potholes get filled, the roads get put together, the bridges get put together, that there's, you know, that to run the state, not to run my life. I'm perfectly capable of making a decision whether I want to stand 6 feet away from somebody. Whether I can walk into a store and say, hey, you know what?
Right.
I don't want to be near these people because of this virus, and I'm going to wear a mask. If you choose not to wear a mask and just, you know, be right on somebody's back and you get sick, that's on you. I don't need the governor to tell me how to protect myself. What I need the governor to do is lower the friggin' gas prices and fix the roads. That's what I need.
Right. Well, now people are getting arrested for not wearing masks. So that's another example of a massive overreach. Something that a bunch of people forget is that the government has a structure. Yeah, well, yeah, but
I walked into a grocery store.
There's a structure.
Alex.
There's the executive.
Hold on. I walked into a grocery store yesterday. Right on the front of the door, it says you must wear a mask to enter this building. Okay? So I took a mask out and I put it on because I wanted to go grocery shopping. Well, I just happened to leave my phone on the dashboard of my truck. So I left the store, went to get my phone. I came back in without my mask on, talked to the guy in front of the door saying that you need to have a mask on without a mask for 5 minutes, and then did the rest of my shopping without a mask, and nobody said a word to me. And look, I'm still here. I didn't die.
What I've done, though, is I pulled up a couple of examples of people that actually got fined. And well, this is one specifically. He actually got arrested. This guy got arrested. It says, man arrested. Well, this one says, man arrested twice in 3 hours for entering Wawa without a mask. And Wawa is a gas station. Making threats, cops say. They got to add their magic on there so that they can justify the arrest. Oh, they were resisting arrest. They were insulting and assaulting cops and whatever. They have to put something on there, because arresting somebody for not wearing a mask, there is no law in this country that says you have to wear a mask. And one thing people forget, the executive order is not a law. There are stipulations. The lawmakers, if you want a law, you have to go to the lawmakers that make laws, and they will have to move it forward through the state house, the state senate, approve it in both chambers, and then it goes to the governor for signature. But executive orders are process orders. They are internal memos for the operation of the internal system. You can't just write an executive order and expect it to be followed across the board, because it has not gone through the process to become law. And people forget some of that stuff. But this man was arrested twice in 3 hours for not wearing a mask. And I don't wear a mask when I'm in town, and we don't have a mask order in our town, partly because we are a conservative state.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, just say no. Remember that old, the Reagans, they did their campaign against drugs, which never went anywhere. But remember the just say no? It was just say no. Well, how about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? Just say no. Do what you're going to do. Defy the tyranny and quit bitching about it. Just go do what you're going to do. You may go to jail, you know what? But you need to find lawyers. There are going to be lawyers across this country that are going to be frothing at the mouth, because they know that these are slam dunk cases, and you might find somebody to do it pro bono. But if you don't defy tyranny, then tyranny will increase, and you will find yourself completely under the boot heel if you don't start trying to resist some of it. Yeah, the masks don't help anyway.
No, they don't. But in order for me to go grocery shopping, they say I have to wear a mask in this state. So, of course, I'm going to wear a mask if I need to go grocery shopping. But like I said, as far as them arresting me for not wearing a mask, do you really think that they want to come near me? They're not going to arrest me. Is that a violent act, not wearing a mask? Why would they put me in jail for that? They're letting out friggin' rapists, but they're going to put me in jail for not wearing a mask? I haven't seen a police officer out of their car in the last month.
Yeah, so here's that. I want to add something to that. Every time I see one of these videos online about the police interacting with somebody because of this COVID thing, the police are not wearing masks and they're not wearing gloves. And they're well within 6 feet zone of people that they are accosting. So the whole thing is just bass backwards and stupid. But I wanted to bring up another thing real quick while we're talking about strange and unusual. A man gets jailed for throwing a coronavirus party and streaming it on his Instagram. Now, first off, I'm going to say this part because this argument does stand, that the Democrats really use their black people as pawns and victims, but then they also go after them at every chance they get. Like Bill Clinton and his order or his law that put so many young black men into prison. They are your worst enemy if you are a person of color, and quit falling for the black caucus and all this other crap. These people are like the slave owners of the earliest period in America, where in fact the first slave owner in this entire country was a black man. So you can't sit here and fall for the black people telling black people that this is how it should be, because they're quite literally sellouts. And it turns out that this is a black gentleman here. He's got tattoos on his face. So what? I don't judge anybody. It's not my job. I don't have prejudice bone in my body. It's not in my nature. But I know why they blew this picture out onto the media, because of all the stereotypes.
Yep.
He's a large black man with tattoos on his face. So they need to make a real good example of him to keep all the other black folk in line. Well, it turns out they arrested him for having this party, and they called it a misdemeanor for having a party. Okay. And then when they got him processed, they went ahead and upgraded it to a felony.
Yeah.
He is being charged a felony for an executive order, not
Can't do
a
it.
law.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. But they're doing it. And that's why this is why you need to find the lawyers that are drooling and frothing at the mouth, because that case will make a lot of people a lot of money.
The most inexperienced public defender, okay, that has half his shirt tucked in his pants and mismatched socks, would walk into a courtroom and win that case hands down. I don't care if the guy has tattoos on his face or on his elbows or on his nose. I don't care. An executive order is not law. Period. You cannot be charged with a felony for breaking an executive order. It's simple. It's simple. Good Lord. Google it.
Right. Yep. Well,
I don't care.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's a national emergency either. That does not make a difference.
All right. Well, here I'm going to go to the other spectrum, because, equal under the law is how I feel. And I want to talk for a minute about the briefing day before yesterday, where the president said that he is in the position where he is considering adjourning the Senate and the House of Representatives. Well, a lot of people don't realize under the Emergency Powers Act, the president is given incredible power. But the reason he would have to adjourn these chambers is because they're playing games with their gavel. They're gaveling in sessions when nobody is in the House. They are in the Senate. They send somebody in, they go through their ceremonial open, and then they gavel, and then they leave. And they're doing this so that they can block the president from putting in the people that are part of his cabinet. He is almost at his first 4 years of the presidency, and the Democrats are still blocking cabinet members. We still do not have a complete presidential cabinet in place. So some people are freaking out, saying, oh my God, that's too much power.
No,
technically it is.
No, it's not.
But, well, I mean, technically it is. But
okay, was it too much power when Obama did it? Was it
Well,
too much
Obama
power
just
when Obama
overruled
did it?
them.
The what?
He overruled them. They
Obama
tried
made 48
the Republicans
recess appointments.
exactly, but they tried to do the same thing by gabbling in with no session. And when Obama had that done to him, he overrode them and put in recess appointments anyway. But
Yes.
the Democrats are now doing it to the president, and they're freaking out that he may do recessed appointments and overrule them. So what's good for them is not good for the Republicans. And
No.
whatever law they break, if the Republicans do it, that's a problem. So yeah, the whole thing is stupid.
But it's perfectly within the president's rights to do it.
But
They can
anyway,
complain
so
all they
I
want.
just wanted to say that because people don't understand how the government works, but they're real quick to criticize.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's perfectly within his constitutional rights to adjourn the Senate, adjourn the House, and say, okay, you guys don't want to show up.
All right.
I gotta get through.
Yeah, if they don't want to be there, then business still has to continue.
Exactly.
All right. So the next one here, we got 10 minutes left, roughly. This is Nancy Pelosi, and the whole show I'm trying to stick with authoritarianism and criminalism. And this is authoritarianism at the umpteenth degree. Nancy Pelosi, you can cue your whatever you need to cue for. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Now she says she's putting forward a plan to control what people post on social media. She wants to stop the conservative point of view. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that I've been mentioning many times that George Soros said in an interview, and I believe it was on NBC. I have to double check. But anyway, all right. He says, by the time November 3rd, 2020 hits, there will not be a conservative voice left in any form of media. Nope. So his dystopian nightmare is being forwarded right now by Pelosi. And, thank you. God, I hate saying her name. But this is the point I'm making, though. Tyranny at point blank range. And they are not hiding it anymore. She is stupid in the sense that she's just a complete moron. Unless she's missing parts, she may not be a complete moron, but she's definitely a solid moron. She's not stupid, even though she acts like it. You can't manipulate an entire country for 40 years if you're stupid. But she has got to know that these laws she's trying to do are unacceptable, illegal, and against the Constitution in every way, shape, and form. But she just plows through with it because damn the torpedoes in the Constitution, we're going in. This is the kind of crap that we're dealing with.
The People's Last Stand made a comment that says there is no constitution. Wake up, people. When Trump called a national emergency, we lost it. That's not the case. When Trump decides
it has to be suspended by the president.
Thank you. Your Constitution is not suspended during a national emergency. It is suspended when there is martial law, which has to be wrote into law by the House and the Senate and signed by the president. This is not it. We still have full functioning constitutional rights. So just to
Right.
put that out there, we didn't lose anything.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate the hell out of you, brother. Yeah, the thing is, the president has to make declarations. Nothing is automatic in our government, and people forget those things. When a national emergency is declared, there are certain powers that fall under the presidency, and they're pretty significant. But you, nothing overrides the Constitution unless there is an actual decree declared by the president that he will be suspending Constitution and what is that? What is the words I'm trying to think of right now for habeas corpus? Knew I'd think of it. Now, he has to declare that is suspended. It's never automatic. And it would only be done if there was a complete national failure of unrest. I mean, you have to have something nationwide in order for that to happen. And it generally would not be done to affect the people. It would be done to affect the operations of government. So there's so many technicalities. And if you're not a constitutional scholar, you may not be aware of some of those, but everything has you can't do this until you do this. You can't do that until you do this. You know, it's all a system, and it works like a well-oiled cog in a machine. And I just got a super chat from Plays in the Dirt. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you. You guys rock with these super chats. This is new to me because YouTube took forever to try to help me out, but I appreciate all of you folks. It really does help a lot. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's all technicalities. We've got to start doing a series on the Constitution because there's so much in there that people just don't realize, because when they think of the Constitution, they usually think of the preamble and the Bill of Rights. They forget there are clauses and subsections and entire sections for the presidential powers, entire sections on the legislative powers, entire sections on judicial powers. So,
and don't forget,
you really need to read it to understand it.
Don't forget to put the
exactly. There's there so much to it.
Yes. Knowing your constitutional rights could be the difference between life and death. Hey, Michael Burns.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael Burns. Appreciate that.
And then Mama Rock gave you a diamond.
Oh, geez, I didn't even look over there. Thank you, Mama Rock. Appreciate you. Nice diamond. I'm going to put that in the ring. I'm up to 111 folks on my D-Live. So if you folks haven't followed me on D-Live, you know that at some point YouTube's going to be canning us if they get George Soros's way. So far, it looks like D-Live is a safe haven for conservatives. So
D-Live is not a U.S.-based company.
Well, that's probably why it's safe. I'm going to be throwing my link in here just so that you guys have it. If you haven't joined me or followed me over on D-Live, please hit that link and do so. That way there's a backup in case I just disappear. But yeah, anyway, Pete, you and I need to be seriously considering doing a good series on the Constitution, because education of the Constitution is going to save a lot of people in this thing, because understanding it right now is very important.
Absolutely.
I got 5 minutes left. I wanted to bring up one of the king dinglings of tyranny, oligarchy, and everything that goes with it. And that is your buddy and mine that you were already talking about, Ralph Northam. This is a lawless son of a bitch. And he has signed several gun bills, even after the lawsuits have been filed against him, and after the protests and things like that. Great Informer, thank you so much. Super chat. Oh yeah, super for the Patriot fam. Please get on Parler and Clout Hub. Please share DVP's live stream. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, this is where we go back to occupy the house, and it means a couple of thousand people standing in there with no room to move and shut down business. Because if they can't do business, they can't take your rights away. And, you know, you're going to get arrested for, what would they call that? They can't call it trespassing because it's your house. They might try that bullshit, but they can't get away with it. They would have to get creative on how to charge you for occupying your federal house.
Yeah. What the problem is Alex, this is the problem I see. They seem to forget that we are the ones who put them in power, and that we can get to a point where we take them out of power. It's getting to that point. You're seeing it happen in Michigan, in Virginia, in all these states where these people are starting to organize. Now, here in places like Southern California, very hard to organize here. Because your local and local level people, they don't answer your emails or phone calls. They don't care about their constituents. Right. Even if you go to their office, they're not there.
Right. Well, just remember, selected, not elected. Because the Democrats work on a selection process. They pick who they want, and then they work the system until they get who they want into the position they want them in. And once they're in there, it's very, very difficult to get rid of them because they put all the people in place that will keep them in there. They put all of their vote counters where they need them. They put all of their election commissioners where they need them. They do all of that. Great Informer dropped another super chat. Thank you, sir. There's going to be a change in attitude towards the Second Amendment now that you have a lot of liberals wanting to own firearms. Hopefully they will have a different attitude towards the Constitution. Sometimes it takes a slap of reality to do that. So we'll see what happens.
They're not allowed to protect their families in time of need.
They're scared to death of the conservative because the media tells them to be. So this is probably really freaking them out.
But they went to the gun stores, Alex. They went to the gun stores looking for all those loopholes that they were told about, where you can just walk into some place and just buy automatic weapons, machine guns, and walk in and walk out.
Yeah,
and it didn't happen for them. It didn't happen for them. And they're like, wait a minute, I need to protect my family. Well, go get on a waiting list like the rest of us have to do because of all the laws you put into place.
Yep. It's like that. All right, so that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good capstone. That's a good capstone for that. Thank you for the lemons, folks, and thank you again for that diamond. Anyway, so with that being said, a couple of ice creams in there too. Appreciate that. Sorry I didn't look over here very much. I was so involved with my headlines. I got to get my my studio built at some point on the back of my house so I can have my monitors all in front of me. I'm in a very small space right now. But anyway, Pete, God bless you, brother. Thank you so much for joining me as always. My moderators, appreciate you guys keeping the house in order. All of these super chatters, thank you guys. God bless you, appreciate you, and rock on and all that stuff. And everybody else who chose to hang out over here on D Live, Facebook, and YouTube, God bless you all. And with that being said, you got anything you want to finish up with, Pete?
Nope. Absolutely nothing. Thank you, everybody, for all Alex's super chats. I appreciate that. And everybody who subscribed to him.
Well said. All right, then. All right, everybody. Cool.
That's it.
Hey, Matthew. Good to see you, brother. You guys are awesome. All right, y'all. Stay in the fight.